Good morning. It seems like we are live. This is day 3. Yes, fantastic. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, here we go. Welcome to another live stream, or if you're watching the recording afterwards, then welcome as well. It's important that we connect, and it's important that we spend some quality time together with like-minded people in these times. And it's not that these times are that bad. It is very, very serious. But, you know, there's lots that we can do to still build community. There's lots that we can do to help each other. There's lots that we can do to inspire one another and also others around us. So that is what this live stream is all about. And I want to see, I'm going to try something new today to see that I can. Yes, now that's fantastic. Good morning, Greg, on LinkedIn. Good morning. So one of the things with this streaming service is that it doesn't integrate with LinkedIn's comments, so I cannot see it on my screen, and therefore then bring it up on the screen and also then respond to that. But I've got my my LinkedIn Live is on my phone, so I can see, and I can then respond now. Whereas yesterday I responded afterwards. Today is only the second time that we are broadcasting live to LinkedIn, so that's awesome. So yeah, there we go. I hope you've got some coffee. I hope you've got or a tea. I've got some tea here in my central perk today. Yesterday I had my Marvel mug, and today I'll have my central perk one. It's actually my daughter's, but don't tell her. Don't tell her. All right. So yeah, lots and lots and lots to talk about. If it's maybe your first time here, welcome. I'm really happy to have you here. We're going to spend an hour every single day for as long as possible, for as long as this lasts. And you know, the more we get quarantined, the more we will continue with this. But the whole idea is here to give you a place to come and unwind, to give you a place to come and share ideas, to bounce ideas, to sort of see, you know, maybe get some ideas, and also just, you know, for me to answer any questions that you may have, whether it's around your business or financial planning or anything like that, you know, marketing, website, social media, anything that really is applicable in your business. Give me a shout. I will gladly try and answer your questions. And that's really what it's about. I'm here to help you, and in the process, actually help myself as well. So yeah, very happy to be able to do this. Today, I've got a whole host of things and ideas that I want to discuss. And let me just open that list here. Yesterday, we were talking about we briefly touched on my story and how it came about that I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think in that story, there's a lot of things that maybe people have, that I know that people have identified with before. And they say, but I struggle with the same thing. And it was for so long that I thought that, you know what, I'm the odd one out, because I just don't know what it is that I want to do. And it feels like everything I start doing a year, 2 years later, I get bored like out of my mind, and then I want to change. And there's sort of a problem with that. Today, I know it was the right thing, but the problem is that people start thinking that you know, you're undependable, or that you don't know what you want, and that was true. I didn't know what I wanted. I knew what I did not want. That's very important. And so I want to talk a little bit, tell you my story, but the idea behind it is not to sort of, you know, make it all about me. It is really just about sharing with you what my journey was like, and maybe there's a little something in there that you can also use in today's times, and who knows, you know, and maybe you can share that with others. So yeah, for those of you that may or may not know, so I was born in a little town. Well, I grew up in a little town, but I was born in Virginia in the Free State, not in the United States, in the Free State, in the middle of South Africa. And I grew up in Henneman. I was there for a very long time until I was 29. And then after I turned 29, I got the opportunity to move to Joburg, which I did. But yeah, so obviously the normal thing, school and all of that. And then after school, I went to study at the University of the Free State. And within 6 months, I was like, I didn't even want to go in the first place. But my mom said, so what you going to do? And you know what, you're very cocky when you're 18 years old. And I just said, you know what, I don't care. I'll stand on the corner and beg or something, but I'm definitely not going to university. But anyway, so off I went. I went to study BSc Computer Science because I wanted to learn to program. I've been working with computers for a very long time at that point, and I was very interested in learning to program. But then you get there, and this was in 1994. So you get there, and they teach you everything but programming. I think of all the subjects I had in my first year, only one subject was about programming, and we were doing the same things that we were doing in Standard 8 or Grade 10 back in the day, and I was bored. It was not for me. I did not want to learn about chemistry and physics. And looking back, I think physics was a good one. And also the math stuff is obviously very, very important when it comes to program. But there was a lot of other stuff that I had to have. And I was like, no, this is not what I want. Just teach me to program. That's all I want to know. And then after 6 months, I did leave university. I was at home for about 3 or 4 months, and then I found a job at Standard Bank. And the very first day, and the job was in Brandfort, so which is even smaller than Henneman. It's about 50 km or so from Bloemfontein, which is the main city in the Free State. But yeah, so I moved to Brandfort and started my career there, my working career. And the first day I started there, they still had accountants and branch managers and those things. And the accountant, yeah, her name was Elise. She introduced me to the branch manager, and the branch manager said to me, you know, he asked Elisa, where are you going to start him? And she said she thought that I must start with waste. So, so I had this picture in my mind, me with my brand new clothes, carrying obviously bags full of things that was thrown away, so junk and all of that. But these big black bags, taking them in and out of the bank. And well, what they did was they put me in front of a computer. And I don't know where this name of waste, until today, I don't know where this name of waste comes from. But I sat there and I had to punch all of the transactions that went through the tellers and also other transactions that came through the back office. I had to capture that. And the one thing that it did teach me is like I can punch stuff, numbers on a keypad without even looking at it. I can just look at the things that I'm busy with. And until this day, I still use that skill. But in that moment, I thought, I'm going to clean out dustbins and things. It felt like I was back in Standard 6 or Grade 8 then for, what was for ontgroening. I don't even know what that's in English. But anyway, so so that's where I started. And I was at the bank for 3 years. About a few months, 6 months later, I moved to Welkom. I started working there in the processing center. So it was a much bigger setup, obviously, than Brandfort. I worked in client services. I worked in, opening accounts, doing investments, those kind of things. Then moved into management department. And there's also a story that I can tell you. Good morning, Vishai and Terence and Neil. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning. Thank you so much. And so we, so that was my career there. But again, as I said, every 2 or so years I get bored, and that's exactly what happened. It felt like, especially when you're so young, it feels like things are just not moving fast enough. And I was saying, like, I know if I look around me, these people have been here for years. They are gonna be here for years to come, and I have to wait for either one of them to resign, to move up, or for one of them to pass away. Before I can move up, and I think that was really what it was. And I thought, like, I don't know. And I was already uneasy, but back in the day, I didn't really know what I want to do and where do I want to go. The one thing that I did know since I was very young is that I wanted to do my own thing. That was always in the back of my mind. I was always doing something. Whenever there was tough times, I was always doing something. So I've always managed to earn money in some way or form. And, I remember back in the day, in 98, 99, 2000, when the internet really started to come up, but we still had those dial-up modems and having to dial in and pay telephone call costs and those kind of things. I learned to build websites, and we used Dreamweaver back in the day, and I can't remember what the other one was, but I mean, it was very elementary, like sort of websites and things that we built, or that I built. I had one lady that was a singer that I sort of offered to do a website for her, and that led to another one and another one. So I always did those things. I even had these, I still buy them today. So JetPrint, if you want refurbished toners and inks and things, I believe in JetPrint for that. And we started buying and selling them here from Joburg. And I had a 40,000 Rand a month turnover business in 2000 from Henneman. All I had to do, so we had this little website. People found us, they ordered, we got the stuff from Joburg, sent it on to them. And then having to go to the post office every day was just too much for me. Didn't want to do that. It reminded me of my first waste job. And I stopped doing it because there was no passion. There wasn't, although I was making a bit of money, there was no passion there. It didn't really speak to me. Anyway, so after the bank, or what happened actually during the time that I was at the bank, I was approached, or when I got home one evening, my mom said that there's a guy that phoned and he wants to see me. Now, he was a teacher before, and they were at the same school, but he's left like 4 or 5 years before that. He joined one of the big insurance companies as a broker consultant, and he called to say that he would like me to come over and have coffee. Very weird. Don't have much of a relationship with him. Don't really know him that well. I don't play sports with him or anything. There was no real connection between me and this person. And I went there for the evening, and he started telling me about the job of a broker consultant. And obviously, I was 20, 21 at the time. And the two things that I do remember very well and very clearly is that there was a company car and there was an entertainment allowance. So I thought, well, this sounds better than the bank, having to deal with all those things that I don't like. And I said, no, sure, let me meet. And then I met up with the manager, and it was a whole 6-month process after that. And they eventually appointed me. And that very first day when I started as a broker consultant, I thought to myself, Francois, what the hell did you do? This is like not at all what I thought it was, and whatever. And then somewhere during that day, somebody asked me to go pick up medicals in Heilbronn from Kroonstad. So I drove in a car. So I haven't received my company car yet at that point. And then I thought, okay, no, this isn't too bad because I'm out of the office. It's one of the things that was always a challenge for me, was being in the office. So, Terence, just explain a bit more. You ask about front page. I'm not sure what you mean with that. You can let me know in the chat. Anyway, so then I started my career in financial services, really, because I didn't see the bank as financial services. I'm also what I was doing then. When you get into insurance, then that's it. And for 2 years, it was cool. I did it, and again after 2 years, I started like. The technology thing kept on coming back. It kept on coming back, And we started a business. There was an opportunity because as a consultant at that point in time, and I work for Liberty. I mean, I don't mind saying that. My whole life that I've got today is because of them. So I'm really, really grateful for that opportunity. And what we did was, that time Blueprint was out, so we had to install Blueprint. You had to configure modems. You had to help people when things weren't working. We trained them. And then there was an opportunity to say, well, maybe we can start a business and subcontract to them, and then we will do that for them in the Free State and the Northern Cape. So my brother-in-law finished school, and he did some qualifications in tech. So we started the business together, and I actually did get a contract with them to subcontract. And we did that for 6 months. It went well. But the thing is, you're young, you play action cricket, and you braai, and you do all those good things. And that's the one thing that I'm really, really thinking back today, if there's one thing that I would do different, the only thing I would do different, I would take my business so much more serious when I start. Your age doesn't matter. If you're really serious about building a business, you should take it serious from day one and learn as much as you can from day one. And anyway, so after 6 months, the guy that I had the contract with, or the person that gave us the contract at Liberty, he left. He started a consulting business, and our business started dropping. And at that point, I mean, it was a little bit too late to do other things. But anyway, so what we did was I went on to go. Actually, I approached Liberty and said I wanted to come back. And then at that point, the guy that appointed me at Liberty the first time around, he moved to Discovery. That's the same time when Discovery Live started. And he then found out that I wanted to go back, and he came and saw me. And I then went to Discovery instead of back to Liberty. I was there for 2 years. After that, I became an advisor at ABSA in Henneman, where I grew up. Didn't find that very appealing to me. And then, so I did that for about 2 years. And then there was a period of about 6 months that I didn't do anything. And after that, I actually got an opportunity after quite a number of interviews and feeling like unsynchron here sometimes. I'll explain that maybe another day why that was. And I then got the opportunity to come back to Liberty, but this time in Roodepoort. That's also an interesting story that I can share with you, but I'm not going to do that this morning. So I went on to start here, and then I took it very seriously. And the thing is this, that now I had a lot more experience. I understood what financial planning was about. Because my time at ABSA, I was exposed to very good training and seeing the bigger picture and things like that. So the fact that I was an advisor and the fact that I then had this consultant experience, when I came back, I was much more clear on what I was supposed to do as a broker consultant. Anyway, and I did very well in that, moved into management and did a whole host of other things. A lot happened in my life at that point in 2008 or so. Made some bad decisions, and then it all sorts of, then I was back at that point where, like, I don't know what I want. This is not exactly what I want to do. I want to do more. I want to get up in the morning with a song in my heart and that kind of thing. And it's not that I didn't have that when I was at Liberty, but there was something, it's when something drives you from the inside, it's very, very hard to explain to someone. So even within Liberty, I then moved, as I said, to management, and then I went back to being a consultant for a little while. Then I came back as I looked after the banks and those kind of things. And then Discovery started approaching me, and I said, no, I don't want to. And I kept on. And because I knew the lady that actually approached me, I said, okay, let's have coffee. And then at that point, I was thinking, because I was now thinking about what's the next move, it was like, I'm going to go back to being an advisor because I've got so much more experience. I've grown up. I always joke that when the girl at the spa counter says to you, donkey when you pay, then now you're ready to start seeing any kind of client as a financial advisor because somebody thinks you're a So then that's cool. But anyway, that's not scientific at all, if you were wondering. Yeah, but then I went on to I thought I was going to become an advisor again, as I said. And the Discovery position was sort of, now we're going to work directly with clients, because in my role as a consultant and manager, all of that, it's always been like third-party marketing. And so it's always been working with intermediaries. We never worked directly with clients. We never saw clients really. Back in the older day, we used to go with advisors to see clients, but that stopped when Phase came in. And that is sort of what I thought was going to be the next progression. So I did that. I left Liberty and I went there. And I don't know, I just didn't fit in that role particularly. And I, after 9 months, then resigned. And then I did become an advisor, and I started my own practice with somebody that gave me the opportunity. And 6 months went great, did very well. And then, it's like I always say, I will never do I will never do what I don't like and what I don't have a passion for 100,000 Rand a month, or 200 or 1 million Rand a month. But at the same token, you can't really do what you love for only 1,000 Rand a month. So there has to be that balance. But, no amount of money motivates me to do things that I don't want to do or things that I don't really have a passion for. And 6 months in, I realized that this is not for me. And then it just spiraled down. And at the end of 2014, I really found myself in a hole, not knowing what to do. And then from there, I think my wife, she saw that, listen, there's really a problem here, because at 10 o'clock in the morning, I was still lying in bed. And then I was going like, okay, Francois, you need to get up. You don't have to go work, just get up, because that's not me. And she then said, oh, I think we should get you a life coach. And I thought, like, whatever, just anyone that can help, that'll be fantastic. And she then got somebody. This lady was more of a psychologist than she was a life coach. But I went there for 10 sessions. We had discussions. And even by the fourth one, I was like, okay, now I knew that it's okay not to know. You don't have to have all the answers. Because I think, like, my brother was in standard 2, and he said, I want to be a veterinarian. And that's what he is today. He loves it. He's never thought about doing anything else in his life than being a veterinarian. Me, if I really think about it, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just didn't know in what. Would I be selling beds? Would I be doing insurance? Would I be doing training? I had no clue. Would I be in technology? I had no clue of what that would be. And but the one thing that I then realized at the end of 2014 was, okay, the job is figure out what you are meant to do. Not what you want to do, figure out what you are meant to do. And that's exactly what I did. So I did a whole host I started doing things like my Clifton Strengths Finder. I did my DISC again, although I've done many of those similar things. But I think the main thing is to get to know yourself. And here's another powerful thing that I did is I asked other people what they thought about when they heard my name. And in the process, somewhere in December 2014, I have a friend, Terence, I'll come back to your question now. I have this friend that sort of asked me, listen, we've got a problem. Well, actually, what happened just before that, I still thought that the problem why I don't like the financial planning thing is because I'm in someone else's business and can't do the things the way that I want to do them. So getting my own license is the answer. And I actually filled in all the forms and did all of that. And then I had a meeting with this friend of mine to say, listen, I want you to come into the business with me. But he's very clever and open-minded. And I think he noticed, because I explained to him my whole idea, because there's a whole business structure and model behind it. And one of the things was education. And he said to me, like, but where's your energy? And I'm like, I don't understand. And he left it at that, because he does coaching and all of that. And he says, and he left it. And then he phoned me in December and he said, Francois, like, we need help. Don't you want to make some videos for us that we can give to the people that come to our training before they go and write their exams, because they did their NK4 qualification as a revision? So I said, yeah, sure. I don't have anything else to do and I need the money, so let me do it. And then I made these videos aimed at the different subjects, and we gave it to them on DVD. And I think from there, he really spotted that I had a passion that I didn't even know I had for that. And then we went on to do the to finish that. And when I took it back to him in January or early February, I can't remember, the next year, he said to me, well, we had the same conversation. And when he said, but where's your energy? I realized it's every time I talk about training. And because he noticed that, he asked me, okay, so now you've done the DVDs, but don't you want to go do training for us? There was a math. One of the things was about math, and they didn't have anybody to go and teach that. I love math. And they sent me to Polokwane, which is the furthest north I've ever been in South Africa. And I went there, and the people that attended the class, you had to attend the class if you didn't have math or you didn't pass math at a certain level. Then you had to do that particular class. So now I go there. I know and understand math. Well, not to the level that some people understand it, but I obviously knew a lot more than the people in the class. And I felt I always had this issue with making things simple when they are complex. And that was my I don't know what you call it, but that was sort of my bursting into training, because that's where I learned how do I make these things, how do I backtrack and move away from the material that was given to me in order to first set them up and make sure that they can follow and that we don't go too fast and we do it in a way that they understand. So I learned a lot during that time, and then I found like I love this. This is what I like and what I love. And at that point, I still had my practice. So from the beginning of 2015 until until then, because already then by October 2015, I decided I'm going to do this full time. I'm going to sell my practice. And then eventually I did do that in 2016. In February, I sold my small investment book. And then someone gave away all the risk business. And yeah, so then I went on to just focus on the training. And even in 2015, yesterday, I was telling that once I started doing the training, I started writing my own workshops as well, because I wanted to deal with specific things that I have a passion for and that I've gotten very good at. And looking back now, when people heard that I was starting this, they said, "But that has always been like that. That's what we think about when we think about you, or it's like, oh yeah, training." And the thing is, I never saw that as a business opportunity, because we think teachers don't get paid well, so there's no business opportunity there. But it's not about the teaching. It's really about helping and supporting and just being there for people. And I found that, combining that with my consulting experience and everything else that I can do, I was able to start building this business that I've now got today. And that's sort of my story. And I think what I learned from it was that I am, or you don't have to know exactly what you want when you leave school. You don't need to know it at 25, at 30, at 60. The only thing is that go and figure out what that is. And if that means that you need to do a whole host of things in between, then do that. Don't be shy. Don't care about what others think. Because the people that are the loudest or the most vocal about, you're not dependable. You are falling around. You are whatever. The thing is that they wish they had the guts to do that, because they are just as unhappy in what they are doing, probably. Not all of them, but certainly I think the majority of them. So never be afraid to go after what you want. Number one. Number two is, if you don't know what that is, go after finding out what that is. And it's not so much about finding because when you master something and you start enjoying something and that's what you do every day, it becomes your purpose. It's not that you necessarily have a purpose always. Some people just know what that is early on, and then we call it their purpose. So anyway, that's sort of my story. Terence says, you mentioned Dreamweaver and another program I used, Front Page. Maybe it was that. Yeah, I think you're right, Terence. I remember the word Front Page. Yeah, but we mainly used Dreamweaver. It was Dreamweaver, and I'm trying to think, and Fireworks. Fireworks was the images program, and Dreamweaver was sort of the HTML part where you could build the websites and that. Yeah, but that's what I learned on. And then for a long time I didn't do that, and then in 2007, 2008, I think I got myself a WordPress.com blog, where like you're so excited, you write an article and that's the only article you write, and then it's just there. But I started becoming aware of WordPress and all of that, and again in 2012, 2013, and then obviously when I started my practice, I built myself a little website, and yeah, and then in 2015 I really had to look more into that. And then when I decided in 2017 to start the online courses, I needed the infrastructure and the website and everything, and I like WordPress. I'm a big WordPress fan. People when they think about WordPress, they think it's insecure and it's just for people writing articles, and it's just a wishy-washy kind of website, and it's not. WordPress is so powerful, and you can really do anything with it, and you don't have to build anything from scratch really, because all the infrastructure is there for what you want, and the functionality you want, you can just add plugins for that, and you can even customize things. So I'm learning to program actually for WordPress, but I've also got a friend that does that very, very well. He's actually written us a plugin to be able to bulk onboard people onto our learning system, because that functionality wasn't there. In the meantime, I've learned to do a lot with forms and payments and also, so we've automated a lot of the bookings, a lot of those things we've automated to make sure that, one, we've got the right information. It makes everything easier. We take payments up front, which previously everything had to be EFT, and we had to do everything manually. Now everything's automated, so you pay when you book. And we've even gone so far as to allow certain people, or for certain people, but certain courses for people to be able to split their payments over 2 or 3 months. Something that I don't know how to do a couple of years back, but we are able to do all of those things in WordPress. So, yeah, really becoming a lot more proficient in that, spending a lot more time on that. I think particularly now in these times, I've been spending a lot of time on my website, looking at what functionality, what things can we do, and just to make things easy for our clients. Because that becomes a portal into our world for clients to come in and for us to connect with our clients. So a website, yeah, we can talk about that. I think that is very, very important. Miguel, I'm sorry. I see. I don't know if I can translate what you were saying here. Unfortunately, I don't understand the language, but thank you for the comment. I'm not sure what you said. But thank you for that, Neil. As I said, good morning, Neil, to you too. Off to the beach for a walk and swim. We'll catch this video up later. Thanks, Neil, and thanks for being here so early on a Sunday. I wish I could go walk next to the beach. So enjoy. We'll definitely, see you in other sessions. Right, but anyway, so that's my story. I would like to hear, how did you land up doing what you were doing? Did you always know, or did you not? I see we've got a comment here. Yes. So we've got Terence. Terence says, find your calling. Yes, Terence. So find your calling. It's not your purpose. It is just the thing that drives you, right? It is the thing that really makes you happy. It's the thing that gives you energy. It is the thing that you can't stop thinking about. It is the thing that you read about, that you listen about, that you watch videos about, the thing that you can talk about it all day. And maybe that's the one thing that I realized looking back. When I started at Liberty, I trained. I asked people why they're not writing for Liberty. They said, because Blueprint, we don't understand, blah, 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 blah. And then I wrote a manual with pictures and all of that. Doing that back in the day was a mission. It was about this thick. And I said to the guys, listen, I've done this training. If you are willing to come every Friday or every second Friday, I will teach you. Is that fine? Yes. And then I even got letters from the old IBC, or the, what do we call them now? The Independent Broker Council. Today they call the FIA. But I've got letters from them saying, thank you for what I did for training the people. It made their life so much easier, blah, blah. And then when I came back to Liberty, the first thing is nobody knows the products anymore, because you always get the people that hasn't been writing for Liberty. I started doing training on group basis. I did a lot of sessions. When RFP 1 and 2 came, I trained people in the evenings on that. Liberty had the best book back in the day. It was better than at that point, I don't think there was the financial planning handbook. I don't know when that started. But we used that book. We sold it for 120 Rand or 150 Rand. And then a lot of advisors bought the book. And they said to me, okay, so now what? So who's going to train us? And I was like, okay, I don't know. Liberty is not going to do that. And then I started doing the training for them, and I did that in the evening. So I had people there from Sanlam, from Mutual, Independent Bank, Liberty. So we did that, and we obviously never charged, because for me it was just, I work for Liberty. I just want to help these people. And didn't need to charge them at all. But we did that in the evenings. And I really, really enjoyed that. It was absolutely brilliant. And then I did a lot of training for new consultants. When I was a manager, I did a lot of training sessions with the guys in my branch. When I looked after the banks, I did a lot of sessions with the different banks at FNB, at Nedbank, and at Absa. Not so much at Absa, but I did a lot for FNB and Nedbank. And that was sort of the thing. And now looking back, I realized that I've always loved this. I just love getting up in front of people and sharing knowledge and ideas with them. So sometimes when something is here in your face, you don't see it. You need to step back a little bit, or someone else needs to tell you, listen, you're standing against the thing that you were looking for. So from that point of view, I think it's very, very important. Anyhow. So yeah, so what else? So let me know in the comments, even if you're watching the recording, comment below, and just, how did you find the thing that you're doing? How did you land up doing what you are doing? Are you happy, or are you still searching? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We should stop caring about what other people are saying. They're not living your life, So just go out and do what it is that you feel that you need to do. All right. So let me see. I see Terence has commented on YouTube. So let's see. My real passion for what I do happened to me about 2 years ago. I documented what I do, how I add value, the clients I want to work with, and what I will charge. The journey is awesome. And Terence, we've been connected for a long time, and I've been following what you're doing. And I said to you recently, well, you've really stepped up your game and the commitment. And that's the thing. I think when you found your calling, or what it is that you love to do, and all those kind of things, it just comes spilling out of you. And that's what I sort of see with everything that you do, when you do it on social media, or when we have a coffee, or anything like that. It's just there's real passion and real care. And that's the thing. You think about somebody like Kobus Klein as well. I was very fortunate to get to know Kobus a lot better. A lot of people see him on LinkedIn, and that's all you see is just the LinkedIn. But we should take the time to get to know people really well, and that's exactly after I interviewed him for my podcast. We sort of connected, and I started talking to him a lot more. And that's another guy. He is so committed to what he does. There is nothing that he professes that he doesn't absolutely categorically believe in. And what he does from a place of, this is what I want to do. He wants to serve, and he really stands for something, and that's fantastic. And I think that is when somebody has found their purpose or their calling, then, or whatever we want to call that. So awesomeness. Let's see. Yes, so we go live every single day from 8 a.m. until 9 a.m. South African Standard Time. So if you're from another part in the world, you can just maybe go check out where that would be. It is first thing in the morning here in South Africa, and we're about 2 hours ahead of GMT. So if you are GMT -6, it means there's an 8-hour difference. So we would be, probably in the evening if you're on the minus side of GMT. Otherwise, I know that if it's 8 o'clock here, it should be about 5 or 6 o'clock in New Zealand, Australia, those kind of places. But that is definitely what you can do. Then I also just maybe want to remind you about the Zoom session that we're having on Tuesday. I'm so excited. I'm done with all the content, the whole session and everything. Really, really excited to share that session with you. As I said yesterday, this is going to be a lot more than how to use Zoom. We're also talking about how do you run an effective meeting? What are the best practices? What do you do before the meeting? What do you do during the meeting? What do you do after the meeting? And it's going to be a discussion as well. I want people to sort of say, but what else would you do? In sort of like, possibly we have the perfect way of doing it, but we've been doing these meetings for a long time. And whether it's with your team or whether it's with a client, there's really a lot of value and things that you need to do. So I'm sharing all of that knowledge with you. We are giving you a lot of templates. There's things that we will give to you. All of this completely for free and no cost. We're not going to market anything during the session or anything like that. So all we're going to do is to show you how to get the best out of Zoom and how to really help that take your practice forward. And then also we will look at alternatives to Zoom. I'm not just going to look at Zoom. Zoom is the preferred. Everybody's preferring Zoom. I've used it last week extensively. It's a tool that I've used for a long time, and it is so dependable and so stable, and it takes so little resources from your computer and so forth. So I'm a big fan of Zoom, but we will be looking at alternatives, not how to use them, but just what other similar kind of things are there that is available that you can look at. And most of these things are paid options. Some of them may be free, but we will be sharing that as well during the session. So the whole aim of this is really just to help you be able to connect with people better in a digital way. We're going to look at what virtual meetings are. We're going to look at what something like Zoom is really about and what you can do. And then we'll go into more of the details. So if you want to register, if you haven't registered yet, let me have a look here. We have got yesterday, we had 174 registrations. But if you want to register, it's on the screen, www.francois.co.za/Zoom. It will take you directly to the registration page. We don't need a lot of information. So let me just sign in here to Zoom so I can see where we are in terms of those registrations. So I know we're on 178 people this morning. So yeah, I see Neil has joined. Thank you, Neil. And yeah, there's a whole host of people that keeps on coming on. But yeah, it's definitely one of the biggest sessions, and this is also going to give you a good idea. If we're 178 people on this, what will the experience be like? I don't know. I've never had a group as big as that. So let's see. We usually have between 30 and 40, and we never have an issue. So let's see. I don't know. I'm really excited for this session. Really prepared well for it, and we're giving you a lot of value as part of that session. So go and register. It's as I said, it's completely for free. We do it with the love from our hearts to be able to bring you that. Right. Cool. Thanks, Terence. Terence says, you are right. And learning from you, find what you love, do it with passion, and everything falls into place with a plan. The biggest thing about this is taking action. Yesterday, I was talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and what he was able to do in a very short space of time. Although, I mean, there's been a long time before that. That's the things that he always say you never see, the hard work that he put in since he was a kid. And now you think, oh, he's done this and he's been able. But it's because all the things he's done before then that allowed him to build this business to the levels that he has in a relatively short space of time since he started that business. But before that, there was a lot of learning and things. But the thing about him is that he's got this massive vision. He's very clear on this vision, and he takes the action that matches that vision. So it's taking the actions that'll get him there quickly. That's the difference. I don't know if the fact that he's in America, if that also makes a difference. But we'll find out at some stage, I guess. Alrighty. So one of the other things, I mean, there's quite a couple of things that I would like to sort of also maybe talk about if there's no particular questions. So you can ask me really anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I see there's definitely a few people watching, but there is, interact and ask me questions if you've got any questions. If you do get enough value from the things that I share, then that's cool. But it will really be great if you could ask questions and so that I can answer them for you. Anything about your business, anything about not anything about your life, but things about your life. Maybe you feel stuck somewhere, or maybe you're trying something new and you want to share it with the world, and maybe you've just got some ideas that you want to validate, or maybe you just want some input, or just a little thing that you're struggling with, or anything like that. Doesn't really matter. You can ask me what technology I'm using for these live streams. You can ask me how I do online courses. You can ask me, well, anything, anything. You are more than welcome to do that. All right. So let me see some of the other things. So we've spoken about the story. Yeah. So maybe one of the things that I thought I would want to show. So let me see if this is going to work. So let me see quickly. I want to share a tool with you that I've been using. I started using it a couple of years ago, or was it last year? I can't remember. Yeah, I think it was last year. Because for those of you that do follow me, that I'm quite active on LinkedIn. I'm not a big. I don't believe in you need to be on all social media. You need to be where your clients are. My clients are on LinkedIn, so that's why I spend 99% of my time on social media. And there was this tool that I wanted to or that I was looking for a tool where I can do posts easily, particularly from my phone. Because the problem is, like, you have this idea, and sometimes the idea comes, often we plan ahead, and we know exactly what we want to do, and those kind of things. But then I start like, okay, but maybe, like, here's an idea, or I would be driving and an idea would pop into my head, and whenever I get to where I was going, and I'm waiting, I want to be doing the thing and sending the posts, etc. And then it was difficult. And the tools that I was using, the other had limitations, and you had to pay for them, and I didn't have the flexibility that I thought I needed, or that I really wanted. So I then came across, I can't remember. I'll also be sharing tomorrow more about the different sources that I use for my learning. How do I keep on learning? Because my biggest value is learning and freedom. And it's about the freedom of being able to make choices and do things the way that I want to do them. But when it comes to learning, it's like I do that continue. Even last night, I got into bed and I'm thinking, like, there's something that I'm busy learning that I need to know more about that. And I wasn't that tired yet. So in bed, I was watching a video, or 2 or 3 videos about this particular topic. So I want to share my sources for learning tomorrow. I want to talk about the, sort of how do I go about learning and those things, and why it is important. So I want to talk about that. Let me see if I can share. Yes, there we go. There we go. All right. This is awesome. So this is a tool called Canva, canva.com. You can also go to, if you can't remember, just go to my website, www.francois.co.za/Canva, and it will also take you here. But this is a tool. It's online. It's a website. Everything happens in your browser. You can design a lot of things. You can see here at the bottom. You can create flyers, presentations, thumbnails for your YouTube. And that was another big thing. I would make videos. I would want to post them to YouTube. And it was a mission to get those things done using Photoshop and all these things. I wanted something simple that'll be quick, and actually something that I could set up that was always there, that I can, if I wanted to, I can use the same kind of design and just change a few things. You can do posters, you can do logos, cards, infographics, business cards, resumes. The list goes on. Certificates, all sorts of stuff. It's just amazing what you can do with this tool. So I thought I would like to end off today, if there's no questions, is to maybe just quickly show you what this tool can do. And I think the biggest thing, or the biggest benefit for me, is that there's an app for this. And that app works absolutely fantastically. It is absolutely brilliant. I've done a lot of things, particularly, or what I would do is I would start the design on my phone, and then certain things just do work easier maybe on here, or I just want to capture the idea about the image, and then I would start it on my phone and then come to the website on my laptop and then log in, and then I would be able to continue using that. And here's the best thing. Everything I'm going to show you today is not in the paid, it's in the free version. So the free version allows to do so much. So let me show you. So this is not going to be a teaching session. This is just I just want to sort of share with you. You can see there's all your designs. You can choose templates that's already there for you. So you can take an existing template and just adapt it for what you want to do. There's photos. So they give you access to Unsplash, I think it's Unsplash. Let's see. But anyway, it's royalty-free photos. It's completely free. Some of them you may have to do attribution. In other words, you need to recognize the person, but you don't pay for it. And even using these photos, if you look at the licenses, they will allow you to use it for commercial purposes. So here you can see discover photos. So you can see some of them. It will say here that it's free. That's a premium one, premium, free. So you can really go and have a look at that in terms of this. And here you can set, just show me the free pictures. Don't be difficult. Just show me the free ones. And you'll see it's really high quality, high definition, or high resolution rather, photos. And you can really get something here that you want to use in your images if you don't have your own. I personally believe use your own images. Don't do stock photos, particularly if you want to convey empathy and emotion and those kind of things. Having a real photo that was taken in the moment where you can see this is real, because surely, this picture maybe can look a little bit real. This you can see is posed. So let's see. Obviously there's a lot of Corona stuff on here. This is scary. Let me see. This is definitely, some of this can definitely go through. This could be a nice one if you said you were in Australia. But some of the things are just not that like real life. It is posed. So when you can catch someone in a situation where you would find them to be in a natural, you just took a picture and they didn't know you were taking a picture, or it's like, I always think about like retirement. We love to have these pictures about these two old people, two retired people, that they are so happy. They're running on the beach and jumping and clicking their heels and doing all that kind of stuff. And that's where I think that's not real. Most retirees do not live a life like that. And even if they have the money, some of them will not be able to click their heels, so it won't be speaking to them. So we got to use things that are more realistic. But anyway, so let me just show you some of the designs. And design is a skill as well. It is not just as easy, but here you can see everything that we've done so far. So here I've created the Zoom, the Zoom post that we did. Here's our Hello Advisor. This is our refresher thing. So all of this was done in Canva. So I'm just going to open the Zoom one, and I'm going to show you. Let me just take off the banner here at the bottom. Okay. Cool beans. So this is sort of what it would look like. And you would see, just like anything else, whenever there is different elements, so it would highlight that for you in terms of that. So you can maybe, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little blue border around the side. So that's for the background picture. So if I delete that, you can see it's just a picture that we've got in there. You can add text. This is another image, so you can layer images. You can put images on top of images. And here you can see here some it pulls in the templates, because I'm on the side here. I'm on the templates menu. Here's the photo. So if I want to bring in another menu, another picture, let's just say, where is something that I just want to show you. It wouldn't even fit into this. Let's just say meet. So let's just say we wanted to say that Zoom is for now replacing this. So you can resize it. You can move it around. This doesn't make sense at all. Okay, I'm just showing you that you can add more pictures to this. Another thing that you can do is like in my uploads, for instance, I would have so these are my own pictures that I've uploaded. So let's just say this was going to be on YouTube, for example. Oh, not that one. This one. So let's just say we were broadcasting this live on YouTube. I can easily add something like the YouTube logo, like that. So you can use things with transparent backgrounds or things with backgrounds, doesn't really matter. But that's how easy it is. It is so simple and so easy to do that. You can add elements. So these are shapes and things like that. So here you can use all kinds of different things. So if I wanted to, for example, if I wanted to add this as a background behind the text, I could do that. I can very simply go and let's just say I wanted to make the background. I'm just taking colors here. Here, that sort of golden color, and then so I could have done that as well. And then even with that, I can take and I can make this see-through. So we can do it like that. So very simple to do this. It's really easy. It is a really powerful tool. So you can just go on your phone or your tablet and search in your App Store or Google Play Store, whatever, for Canva. You'll find it. You can download it. You can register for free, and you can use it really a lot. Everything that I've shown you now is that you can do it like that. There's text. They give you some examples of different texts and things that you can use. There's music that you can add. There's videos. So you can do any kind of post that you want. Here's some great backgrounds and things that you can use for that. Here's backgrounds that you can just allocate to your background. I mean, if we wanted to do that, I could change the entire background by doing a simple click. That's how simple it is. And then once you're done, you can go here to the 3 ellipses, or there will be a download link at the top of the app. And here I can go and I can say download. And then I've got different file types. I can do it as a PNG, which is for me the preferred image type that I will use. You can also do JPEG if you want to make sure that it's smaller and it's compressed. Then you've got PDF in standard and PDF in print. So you can do, because you can create multiple, like, you know, on LinkedIn, when you see those little carousels that it's actually a document, but you can page through them, and the little squares and things like that. You can do that. I'll show you now. I did one like that. It was done in here. They're starting to introduce video and GIFs and those kind of things, and then also animation. But this, you'll see whenever you see this little crown here, it means that they are it's in the premium version, so you have to buy it, and it's not that expensive. I'm actually considering doing that. So let me go back. And my designs, and I'll just quickly show you the little carousel that I did. Here it is. So that's actually this one. So here you can see this is actually a multi-page document that I've created. So you can add pages, and there it is. I just chose a square size, and then I just created the different pages. So all of these, there's my logo. There's just whatever I wanted to put on here, whether it's text or whether it's images, whatever the case is. So these things, like that's an image. This is a shape. Where'd you go? That's a shape. This is a shape. So that's what you can do. And then once you're done, you go here to download, and you can, so if I click on download, it'll ask me PDF. I download it as a PDF. I upload it to LinkedIn with my post, and then it gets in there, and LinkedIn will automatically put them side by side and let it work like that. Cool stuff. Alrighty. So I think that's it. I'm not seeing any more comments or anything. It is now, let me see. It is 8:59. So we are basically through the hour. So thank you very much for being here. I really appreciate it. If there's anything we can do for you or that we can help you with, give me a shout. If you just want to bounce ideas and just have a quick chat, we can do that. Please remember to sign up for the Zoom session. It is for free. You will get a whole host of value. So go and check it out. And if you're watching the recording, thank you for watching the recording. I really appreciate it. And thank you for spending an hour of your valuable time with me. I know we've got more time for these kind of things. If you've got any ideas of things you would like me to talk about on this show, let me know. One thing I haven't mentioned, just maybe, I don't know how many people are going to see this because they usually don't watch to the end, but we'll be having guests next week. So I've got 2 guests. On Tuesday, I have Johan Westhuizen. We're going to talk about using your strengths to get through adversity and challenges, etc. And then on Wednesday, I've got Renata with me, Renata Jude, and we're going to talk about business optimization. So very, very excited about that. I'm getting goosebumps. I don't have a high enough definition camera, I think, but I'm really, really excited. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Standard South African Standard Time. Thank you very much. Enjoy your time with your family. Be safe, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.